Hey everyone, Mr. T here. Time for another Pokemon ranking video. So we are at number 12. We are getting to the halfway point. If you've been watching my other videos, you saw I dropped 3 videos all at once the other day. And it's time to keep it moving. I'm trying to get these done as quick as possible because I have a bunch of other videos in the backlog that I'm looking at putting out there. So this next type is, well, it's average, it's basic, and yeah, I'm sure some people love it, some people probably hate it, but I'm sure the majority of us kind of put it near the center of the road, and by this point in time, you probably figured out where I'm going with this. So my 12th favorite or my 7th least favorite is the normal type. Now normal type, it's not that I hate it, but I just don't love it either. I feel it's normal. I mean, it's basic, it's general, it's run-of-the-mill cookie cutter. I actually almost thought for a little bit putting it at number 9, putting it right in the middle. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to switch it around a bit. I'm going to put it up a little higher because I have a few that I like a little bit more and so on. But again, it's not a bad type. Normal is a fun type, especially because it really doesn't have that many weaknesses. Plus, it's also good against ghost type Pokemon because if you fight a true ghost, the ghost type moves can't hurt it. Now, again, normal type can't hurt ghost, but you can always fill your normal types with other moves. And yes, you can do that with your ghost types, but I feel normal types have a better variety than ghost types do. So again, it's one of those where if you use it right, it can be a phenomenal type, but for the most part, it's middle of the road. So quick refresher on the rules for Pokemon. The first one is pure. They can only be normal. The second one is normal as primary. The next one is normal as the secondary type. And then the last one is a pure normal, but I don't like them. And anyone who is a true fan of Pokemon, you probably know who my least favorite normal type Pokemon is, especially if you're a fan of the older generations. Hint, hint, Goldenrod City. And you've probably figured that out by now. Now, the first thing I want to preface, most of you were probably thinking, anyone who's a Pokemon fan, you're probably going, oh my god, he's going to pick Eevee when he gets to the normal type. And I'm not going to lie, Eevee came through my mind quite a bit. I actually had Eevee. I put Eevee down just as like a one of the brainstorming ideas. But the more I thought about it and the more I looked into like my gameplay and I saw, my son's room and stuff like that, I realized Eevee is one of my favorites. But Eevee in herself is not. It's Eevee's evolutions that are my favorites. So I'm a fan of Eevee, but my favorites are Eevee's evolutions, not Eevee on its own. So then I started thinking, okay, what would be my favorite normal type Pokemon? And I promise you, I am not trolling. I am not joking. Like, I legitimately like this Pokemon. I have liked this Pokemon since Gen 1, and it has continuously been one of my favorites. I am a huge fan of this Pokemon, and I don't know why. I just love it for some reason. It's one of those, you can't explain it, you just do. And that is Rattata. Or Rattata, however you want to pronounce it. I call it Rattata. So, Rattata, I just love this Pokemon. It's a cute little mouse. It's got the overbite. Purple is one of my favorite colors. I'm not a huge fan of Raticate. Like, I don't hate him, but I don't love him. I just love Rattata. And honestly, I'm not a fan of his regional form. I don't like the dark typing one. I think the dark typing one just goes a little, gets But I just love this Pokemon. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wanted to put Eevee, but then I thought, you know what? Am I putting Eevee for me or am I putting Eevee for fan service? And this is my favorite ranking list. And I want to try and avoid putting a Pokemon somewhere just because other people might not like it, because it's my favorite. It might not be your favorite, but it's my favorite. Now, my favorite primary normal type, it's a flying type, and I don't think it's the flying type you're thinking. It's not Pidgeot, which Pidgeot was definitely one of my first choices, and I thought about it. But I've always loved this Pokemon. It's probably my favorite bird Pokemon if I'm really thinking about it. It's based on my second favorite real bird, and that's Toucanon. I love toucans. I think they are the second greatest bird out there, only behind bald eagles. And if you know about me, anything about me, then you know why bald eagles are my favorite bird. But I love toucans, and I love how toucanon is probably one of the most like normal Pokemon. Like if you think of a Pokemon being a normal animal, toucanon is it. Now you're probably thinking, oh my God, Testa, you just said a rat was your favorite. Well, Rattata is like a 1.5 to 2 feet big. If I see a rat coming at me that's that big, I'm pulling out my shotgun. You know, toucanon is roughly the size of an actual large toucan, and it literally just looks like a toucan. So I find it funny how it's basically just a regular animal in the Pokemon world. So I always find that funny how he is probably one of the most basic animals out there, but I love toucans, and toucanon is cool. And don't get me wrong, Pidgeot, definitely an honorable mention. Could probably throw him on this list. Hint, hint. Think of later videos. But toucanon's my favorite normal primary Pokemon. Now, my favorite normal secondary, I jump between Heliolisk and this one, and I finally decided, like, you know what? I like this one better. I've done playthroughs with this one, and I think it's a cooler Pokemon. Plus, I like this Pokemon as a real animal, and that is Pyroar. I think it's cool how, you know, Pokemon variants based on female and male or based on gender has definitely been around for a long time, but I like how they stuck to the lion-esque of the mane and the hair. I really like how they emphasized that in the game, so I thought it was cool how Pyroar looks. Now, I put both of them, and I like both of them, but I think I like the female one better. I think the long hair slicked back like that looks more elegant and sleek, and it's just an all-around cool Pokemon. Plus, Fire is, hint, hint, one of my favorite types. I'm not going to say whether it's number 1, 2, 3, or anything like that, but it's definitely top 3. So, again, it's just an awesome Pokemon. I love it. I love its unevolved form. It's a cool Pokemon, and, again, it came out during Gen 6, which is one of my more favorite gens of Pokemon. So I always think it was a cool Pokemon, and I think it kind of gets some love, but I also think it gets a little bit more hate, or not hate, but I think it gets forgotten about. So I want to bring back the love for Pyroar. And now my least favorite. Some of you true Pokemon fans, especially you OG, well not OG, but OG 2.0 fans, you know exactly where I'm going with this, and that's Miltank. The only thing I'm going to say about Miltank is Whitney, badge 3. That's all you need to know. If you know, you know. So yeah. So, that's my number 12 list. Normal. Stick around for number 11 coming out soon. And again, I promise I'm not trolling with Rattata. I actually do like Rattata. I'll probably make a video showing you guys some of the stuff I have with him. But yeah. So as always, thanks for watching. And yeah, stick around for number 11.